Hello, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans, GH fans. Today is Wednesday, June the 29th, 2022, and here's my General Hospital's recap for today. Okay, where am I going to start? Um, Olivia, of course, has her heart to heart with Ned, and lets him know that he's just put himself in a position to where the family's going to all be against him. She said for the first time, this was one of the only times, well, she's new to the Quartermain voting, but that she could remember all the Quartermains were voting the same way, and he had to be the one not, you know and really it wasn't all, because remember, Valentine holds some of the shares from others, but all that can vote independently did vote for on Michael and Drew's end. And he kind of explained himself and said, I wanted our piece of the legacy. I have you and I have Leo and Brooklyn to think about as far as what can I leave them. And he's like, now I have something to leave them with. With Michael and Drew, it was up in the air what they're going to allow me to do, which is interesting. It is, they could have come up with offering him chairman of the board, but they really weren't thinking of Ned. Ned wasn't, he was an afterthought with them. I do have to admit that. So, they argued a bit, and poor little Leo, he thought they were mad at each other. And so, he goes, Michael takes him to where the horse is. And I guess the groundsman or horse keeper, stable man, was supposed to be watching Leo, and he wasn't. And Leo was trying to feed the horse by himself and fell off the little stool, but he didn't really hurt himself. But he told his parents about it, and he said he didn't come get them because they were mad at each other, and he didn't want to he didn't want to interrupt that. So it was a cute little scene. Nina and Lisa were talking, and Nina was asking her, how come you didn't accept Scott's proposal? And Lisa was saying, because he made that proposal in haste. He made that proposal because he didn't want me to be mad about coming to Laura's defense. I deserve a better proposal than that, which, okay, yes, you do. Yes, you do. And so he goes, well, if he offers a proposal under the right circumstances, what will you say? I don't know that Liesl said yes, that she would say yes. I don't know. I think she would, because she truly loves Scott. But it was interesting that Victor shows up poolside at the end, and he was telling Liesl that, oh, please, boring Scott Baldwin, that attorney, she needs somebody with more pizzazz than that. And, that they have more chemistry than she and Baldwin will ever have. And, Liesl just looked at him. I think for sure, Cassadine is a no-go for her. For one, for their bad history. And for two, like, she was talking to Nina and she said, I've never been in a relationship where a man truly treated me well. Or that could have even been a conversation she had with Britt, but I think she said it again. And she's not used to it. This is new territory for her. And so I'm hoping she doesn't just throw it away, but I really honestly don't think she will. And Anna is a little suspicious of what is Valentine doing on his own time, because he gets these texts or phone calls and he has to up lickety split and go, or pretty much change the subject. So she knows he's up to something. She was just telling Felicia she honestly doesn't know what he's truly up to. And then we had scenes with Carly and Drew. Okay, Carly does tell Drew that she did put up, because he goes, what, you put up your house? I'll make sure you don't lose your house. And she goes, no, it was much more than that. I put up my half of the Metro Court. And he was like, whoa, what? And so he goes, well, Wolfie, no, I'm not going to let you, I'll figure it out. My stockbroker is coming over and I'll figure it out. But so then Drew says, well, look, let me be your friend. Let me, be with you during this. Let me, help you through this crisis, even if you won't accept my financial help. So Drew is there when the stockbroker talks to her and he tells her, I'm going to tell you something. You don't have the money or the assets to get your half of the MetroCorp back, because it's plus 3% of what you sold it for. And so she says, well, I have 30 days. And he says, no, you don't have 30 days. The company can, soon as everything finalizes with the whole their paperwork initially with that sale, they can actually order you to open up your books and show that you are financially sellable. Otherwise, why would they wait 30 days if you don't have the assets? He says, so no, they can force like an audit, and they could start taking over, or actually just null and void that whole 30-day clause period if you don't have the money. And he looked at her, he goes, and you don't. So the look on Carly's face is like, oh my God, I am in trouble. I am, yes, and she is in absolute trouble, Carly. So we deal with Willow. Willow is the big, pretty much story today. Willow finally comes to. Liesl is there at the top and, has them elevate her legs, and they get her some juice. And Willow's insisting when she finally comes to, like, oh, no, I'm good. They're over exaggerating. No, I don't need an ambulance, because Sasha was calling an ambulance, and they called off the ambulance. Says, okay, she doesn't need, you to come. And she goes, I will be fine. And she goes to get up and pretty much couldn't even get up. Ends up sitting right back down because she could not get up, And so they're like, no, you are not fine. So they said, it's either the ambulance taking you to GH or we're going to take you to GH. So she allows Sonny, and Sasha comes too. Sasha and Sonny take her to General Hospital. Okay. So they're there. What's his little name? TJ and Epiphany were at the nurse's station. He's talking about giving her some books for her studying, and he's the attending. So he takes Willow into the room, and Epiphany assists the nurse, and they, get blood and everything to run tests. And she finally comes clean that first she said she hadn't, this was only the second time she fainted, but he's like the second time in like 2 months, or a little under 3 months. So then he goes, have you had any series of dizziness, weakness, lightheadedness? At first she was saying, well, no, not really. And I'm thinking, well, she's lying, because she definitely couldn't make it up the stairs earlier the day in that day. So then he goes, okay, I'm going to ask you again. You're going to be difficult patient or nursing student? How are you going to answer me? So she said 4 times. Oh, that was an answer. 4 times, right? So Michael comes to the hospital. He arrives because Sasha calls him. He was supposed to meet little Dex at wherever they were going to meet, but of course he beelines it to the hotel so that he can see Willow. Soon as he walks in and he sees Sonny, and he immediately goes to Sasha, where's Willow? How's Willow? And acts like Sonny's not even there, And so she goes, she's being examined, this, and this. And then he's looking at Sonny like, why are you even here? And Sasha's, or Sonny's like, Sonny or Sasha, he was at the poolside, or I was at the poolside, when she fainted. And then he immediately went to, did you say something to upset her? Like it's Sonny's fault. And Sonny's just looking like, oh, you got to be kidding me, right? So he goes, look, I don't even have time for this. I'm just going to go into the room, examining room where she's at, which is what he does. And he's talking to her and he's saying, you haven't looked well for a few months now, Willow, and I hope you told the doctors the truth on how you're feeling and everything like that. But Michael walked out of the room. I forget for what reason, but he walks out the room. And when he walks walks out, TJ walks in and he says he has Willow's test results. And so she goes, okay, well, what are they? And he goes, well, he has pretty much the one result. The rest of the results are being run and it's going to take time. But he goes, this could be good news. And she's looking like, what? And he goes, you're pregnant. And that's the look right there on Willow's face. And of course, you notice, isn't it interesting? All the horrible vampire makeup they had earlier under her eyes seems to be gone when, I think she would still look like that. But anyway, Willow is looking in, disbelief that she could be pregnant. So I guess she doesn't keep track of her cycle, right? But anyway, now we're getting ready to get into the meat and potatoes. Willow is pregnant, but how much do you all think? This is my prediction, my spoiler. I think the other results are going to be what else is life-threatening for her, which is going to make this pregnancy so high risk for Willow. It's going to be a high-risk pregnancy, and it is going to be whatever medical that she needs from Nina is going to be what saves her and her baby, which is what's going to put Willow completely indebted to her mother, because it'll be because of Nina that, her baby's here and Willow's here. So I kind of think that's how they're going to write that. I really honestly do believe that. So that is my General Hospital recap for today. I do want to take a few moments to highlight a few of the viewer comments. Let's see, what do I have here in comments? I have a comment from Annette. Annette feels that she thought Victor was Esme's dad. And I think I may have talked about that, but we all know Ryan Chamberlain is Esme's father. And she also was wondering if whatever Willow's condition is, could that have been what she passed on to her other child, which is why the other child did not live. So that is going to be interesting how they play that out with Willow. And then I have this Chemo Beauty. She was saying that the look on Willow's face, that she thought kind of the way the eye thing that they had going on, she thought it could have been something to do with her kidneys. And then of course she said, yeah, Carly has backed herself into a corner, and she feels that Olivia should take Ned upstairs and make him give her some Quartermaine money to help Carly get out of this mess that because he is in, she's in is because he voted that way. And then it was funny, she talked about Dex. She says he's looking like a weasel, and he's more weaselly than Cody is. Dex is conniving though. Cody seems more innocent and, what do you call him? Con artist. Cody's devious, yeah, deadly and devious. And then we have Carol. Carol says she loved how on Monday Sasha stood up to Olivia on Nina's behalf. And then Kiki said she actually liked the fact that Ned sided with Valentine. And I was corrected, definitely updated, that the chairman of the board is a higher role than CEO. I completely forgot about that. The CEO is in charge of running the day-to-day operations, though they do have that autonomy. But for the larger decisions, the board of directors. So yes, the chairman of the board has a huge say, but it's actually the board as a whole has to be involved and do their voting. So all those that are on the board have to be involved, and the chairman of the board presides over all of that. And she's hoping it is Nina, the one behind taking the company from Carly, the hotel. It's interesting. I don't know how Sonny will react to that. Sonny, that I don't know how he would react to Carly losing her hotel, because he knows that is a big part of Carly is that hotel. So let's see. Sandy says, of course, Carly's made a huge mistake, and she wouldn't be surprised if it was Sneaky Nina. Let's see if we're right with that. And then she knew Ned was going to vote with Valentine. So thank you so much. I'm so happy I got all these wonderful comments. And one thing she was saying, Sandy, that once the truth has to come out that Nina is Willow's mother, and that Carly knew, it's going to be the, oh, you kept my daughter, my second daughter, away from me, you know, like my first, which for one, Carly did not know Nell was Nina's daughter while Nell was alive. But, you know, Nina doesn't care about any of that. And it has actually only been what, 2 months, if 2 months, that she's known that Willow is Nina's daughter. I'm sorry. Nina kept Sonny for 9 months. 9 months. So I think turnabout is fair play where that is concerned. And Squawky Squeaker says she feels, you know, Nina may have to give up a kidney, or there's a bone marrow transplant, something she's going to have to do, you know, for Willow, to keep Willow alive. And we all know that is how soaps write their information. And then we've got Talisha says she's definitely team Carly all the way. And I am too. If I have to pick, if I'm on a team, am I on Nina's team or Carly's team? I am definitely on team Carly as well. So those were the comments. Thank you so much for commenting. Please, please comment on the videos. I like to actually respond. I can't respond to every single comment, but I do like to try to respond, because it's like talking to friends about our soaps. So that is the GH recap for Wednesday, June the 29th. I will be back tomorrow, everyone.